Hey all, welcome to the first webinar we are conducting by Qliksense, and we are so excited that you all have joined in this first Qliksense webinar. Thank you all for, first of all, thank you for registering and joining in with us. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes because a lot of people have joined and they are logging in. So we'll wait for them and then we'll start our session for today. So hopefully if you have any questions or anything you want to ask, you can type in your chat box, and in the end of the session we'll try to answer. So let's start this journey of our first webinar, and let's wait for a couple of minutes, then we'll start. So hey all, thank you for joining in, and this is our first webinar. So a lot of people have joined and are now part of this webinar. Thank you all for registering and joining in with us. So today we'll be talking about Qliksense mashups and APIs, and also about extensions. So there's a demo session also for you, a surprise demo as well. So for today, I'll first like to introduce Mr. Nitesh Sethi, the founder of Qliksense Consulting and Services. He has been awarded Qlik Luminary for 3 consecutive years now, since 2018, 19, and 20. And he's the leading person of this organization with 15 plus years of experience in BI and analytics. I'm your host, Shravil Gupta, and I'm working as a senior BI consultant here in Qliksense. So I have more than 6 years of experience in business intelligence, and I'm passionate about data, all about data and data visualization. So I'll hand over the presentation to Mr. Nitesh Sethi, and so please join in and please take the stage. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. First of all, I would start with thanking you for coming in with such a huge number and supporting us since this is our first webinar. If anything that you doesn't like or you like, so please don't forget to share the feedback, because as every time you share the feedback, it helps us improve and deliver you the best. Thank you, Shravil, for putting in so much of energy and giving a big beginning. So the recipe for today's webinar. So we'll be talking something about us. Then we'll be directly jumping to the mashups. There is a small demo, live hands-on for some of them who are still learning or who still want to know how to create a mashup. Then the most important topic for the evening, it would be the APIs and the Qliksense extensions. Then there is a small demo where we show how to connect your Qliksense with your Facebook. So you can connect your Qliksense with Facebook, or similar way you can connect with the Twitter to do the sentiment analysis. So this is the need of our nowadays. So I hope this webinar would be quite useful for you. So we'll start with the company motto. So it is skills help us do, values make us become. What we mean is skills are required to do a job. Everybody needs to have some skills to do a particular job. But to become what you want to be, we have to align our skills with what we value. So I hope everyone is on with me on this. Talking something about us. So Qliksense is not just another BI service-based company. Rather, we are focused to give a wow experience to our customers always. So it means we fit in best of both the worlds, the services and products which fits your needs. You can know more about us by following our LinkedIn page, Qliksense Consulting Services. You can call us 24/7 our hotline number, and you can visit our website to know more about us. Something about our company offerings. So we are now official Qlik partner. And there is no task like big or small for us, no industry big or small. We treat every customer of us with the same value and high-end value. So anything from your end-to-end BA solutions to even simple tasks with job monitoring, we do it all with the detailed perfection. So things we are doing currently, we are helping some of our customers to build extensions. It is obviously on demand, so we are not providing the complete package of bundle of extensions, but it's basis to basis need. We provide support to existing extensions. By this I mean that there are a lot of extensions which are present on the internet which are free, but they are not supported. So we do provide support on this. We do provide support on bug fixes and performance issues. So there are some customers who already have a lot of Qliksense apps built. They do not want to go into further development, but they are pretty slow. So their BI adoption rate is going very down. So we are helping them with the performance issues and if there are some bugs with that. And of course, I've been doing a lot of Qlik training. So we provide Qlik training worldwide. And by worldwide, we have provided in Belgium, France, India, mostly, and European countries. So as we know, the BI is now shifting towards third generation BI. So I'm sure since this webinar is mostly focused on Mashups, which is related to Qlik. So the fantastic Qlik has bring up the terms like cognitive engine, along with its amazing associative engine and things like augmented analytics. So these are the terms which are coined for the third generation BI. Which means, now analytics is no longer a luxury. Earlier, people used to think, only a big organization or the larger organization who have a lot of money can only do BI analytics. But now it's the need of hour. So you need both synthesis as well as analysis to find the meaningful insights. Now the terms like predictive analysis, descriptive analytics, so things are moving towards that. So technology is getting powerful every day. We have countless ways to collect the data. You might have listened to the word, data is the new oil. So it really is. So we have used Qliksense for customers in various domains. I mean, you name the domain and we have worked for them. It's manufacturing. We have been working with the healthcare clients. We have worked with communications, one of the largest telecom provider, financial services, We have been working with public sector, retail, life sciences, energy, and utilities. So I'm sure no other BI tool like Qlik is capable of delivering these kind of solutions covering all the domains. Yeah, so quickly coming to the mashups, I'm jumping onto it. So I will talk about what are mashups, why are mashups. The most important thing which comes into mind while using Qliksense, that how can we extend the flexibility of Qliksense into our other web applications or on other websites. So one of our customer has a demand that he loves Qliksense very much, so he wants that in his internal website these kind of Qliksense charts should be integrated. So Qliksense is offering this concept of open APIs and mashups, which you can integrate it within your websites and web framework with the help of a mashup. So mashup is nothing but it's just a combination of Qliksense open APIs and the web framework. What are the advantages? Needless to say, it's easy web integration. And when one another very important feature is, when you have different charts, different Qliksense charts from different apps, you can integrate all of them into your web page. It's not that only one app and all the charts will be in the same HTML page. In one website, you can have different charts from different apps. UI flexibility is one of the most important point for the origin of mashup. Thanks to Qlik, that with the help of mashup you can do a lot with the flexibility. The only things is you need to be perfect with your JavaScript, the HTML, and your CSS. So with these three powerful weapons, you are ready to rock any of your website designs. And with the power of Qliksense. So these are the three important components of mashup which I have recently discussed. You just need the web development coding skills like simple HTML, a JavaScript, and a CSS. So I will let you know how these three are related. But what I've written is Qliksense application / data model. This is also a very important part. You don't necessarily need to build all your charts into Qliksense application and then integrate into your web page. You just need to bring your Qliksense data model, do all the modeling stuff, and the data is ready to be used in your further web applications, which is such a power. And I don't think any other BI tool is currently as flexible as Qliksense is. Now let us try to understand what are the components of mashup. You have a Qlik, then you write HTML page. What is HTML? It's just like a website or a form. It's a framework where you need to write all the code. Then you create a CSS. What do you mean by CSS? So anything related to your colors, your sizes, your shapes, anything related to graphic designer, everything is covered in a CSS. And JavaScript, so this is the backbone of your mashup. In the JavaScript, this is used to interact or talk with your Qliksense. You can navigate through that, you can make quick selections, everything related to functions are done in your JavaScript. So you got my point. You have an HTML, which is your form, your website. Then you write the CSS, what kind of container you want, in which you want to place that object. And to interact with the Qliksense, the engines, you need to have good knowledge of JavaScript. So these are the three components, and mind me, there are no excuses. You have to now learn basics of these things, which is once you start learning, you will love Qliksense more. So here I will tell you with a small example. You see, the code is not a very big rocket science or something to be afraid of. Let me start with HTML. You see, it's a div, so small demo container. You can see div ID. So this is just creating a container, and there is a class POV object. So first step is you create a HTML web framework. Then you create a CSS where you see the same name as a demo container, Here you are saying that this is just like a placeholder. So your height should be 300 pixels, your width should be 400 pixels with these set of margins. It means your Qliksense chart which you are going to integrate into this mashup, it would fit into these dimensions. Now you have created a web framework, you have created the styling sheet, you have created a placeholder with these dimensions. Now last step, you need to bring your Qliksense chart here. So for this, the only thing which can help is JavaScript. So this is the code you see. If you see in open app, this is the function, and demo app.qvf. So this is your qvf file which you want to bring in here. Then in the second get object method, you see the same name as demo container. It means in this placeholder, comma, thereafter comma you see a big key, so that is nothing but an object ID. So this JavaScript is saying in demo app.qvf, you bring this object ID into demo container placeholder. I hope things are clear. I would repeat again. So demo app.qvf is the qvf file from which you want to pull some object, and which object? That object will be given by object ID, which is this big key, and this object will be placed into a demo container which we have styled into CSS. So this is a simple way of creating a mashup. Also, I would say that you need not worry much, because Qliksense has also given us the flexibility to directly create your mashup without learning each and every basic of these codes through a dev hub. That's a pretty useful tool which you can start with initially. I will show you a quick demo for that. So today's demo for mashup is a small mashup drive. I'll tell you about mashup drive. So this you can open it from your Qliksense hub. This is your Qliksense app, and we will be trying to integrating this chart into our mashup. So from here, once you have opened the dev hub, this will come. This is your all the app names. So we have selected this app which you want. Now you see automatically the QEXT file, the HTML file which we are talking about. Don't forget about QEXT. We are talking about 3 important components. So this is your HTML code, this is your JavaScript, and this is your CSS. So once we select this app, you go into the JavaScript and see, and open app method. In our slide it was demo app, not QVF. But here we have opened now this one. So you see in the JavaScript, click open, this method is coming here. In the HTML, you see the new ID. So these are the placeholders. To see where are the placeholders, so these are the placeholders Qliksense already has given you in their measures. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 placeholders. You can see 6 placeholders. Now this is the bar chart I want to integrate. So nothing. Just pick this up, drop it here. So I've done nothing. Just pulled this bar chart and dropped it into the first placeholder. Let us see if JavaScript has called as object ID not. So now you see, after open app, earlier the code was only till here. Now it has objected, inserted the object here. So this is the object ID, and this is the container ID where it is putting that object. Just click on preview and we launch to this page. So see, your mashup, right? What is this? This is an HTML page. So this is your Qliksense mashup. So easy. You have in one click, simple Qliksense chart. Now, where do you think this can be useful? So everybody knows that in the Qliksense still a lot of features are missing. Like if you want to change the title, like the mashup drive color, what we will do in Qliksense? Anybody has any idea? Because as far as I remember, there is no way to change the color title. But with the mashup, you remember CSS is most important thing. So written a very small piece of code. This will change your background color for the mashup and just change your title header. So it's nothing, just body of the mashup. Background color, give any color of your choice. H2 color is blue. Save it. Let's see how it looks now. See, it is black and the background is white. See how easily the color has changed. The background color as well as the blue color has arrived for the title. Apart from this, I will tell you a very important functionality. I'm sure the people, the guys or the clients who have been using the ClickView, they must be missing the open trigger functionality. There are no such triggers in ClickView, which were present in ClickView. So there are no such triggers in Qliksense. So you can achieve all those triggers as well with the help of JavaScript. And we will be covering that in the later sessions, which is a little more advanced thing. But for now, I'm sure you might be happy to get your mashup ready within 5 minutes also. So I'll pass on the mic now to my colleague Shravan, so that he can take you with the important part of the evening, Qliksense APIs. Sure.
Thank you so much, Hitesh. That was really informative, and I think the guys who have joined would really uh, get to learn out of it, and maybe they'll get creative and innovative with the mashups. Okay, so now we'll talk about the Qliksense APIs. Basically, the open APIs. Qliksense has provided a lot of functionalities and a lot of things, or you can say it depends now on the developer how creative how innovative he or she is, because earlier you were restricted to click functionalities and whatever the abundance of functionalities Qlik is providing. But now you can get creative and use these APIs according to your needs and display them um, to any kind of web page, or web framework. So a lot of options are there. So let's deep dive into it. Now, why APIs are important? So APIs basically enhance the business value. By business value, I mean that Qliksense already gives a boost to the business, but now with Qliksense APIs, the end user experience can be enhanced, as well as it is giving us advanced capabilities uh, because now we can use these APIs to create mashups or extend the Qliksense functionalities with extensions APIs and much more. So we also have the second point here, it is written the flexibility. So we have different integration points. We can integrate with different technologies, and we have certain degrees of integration as well, because now you cannot just be dependent on one technology. You can use multiple technologies and integrate them to your one web framework. So, for example, let's say you can use AngularJS You can use JavaScript native or JavaScript raw, and you can also nowadays use React JS to build mashups or your extensions as well. Last point is stimulate and enable. So basically, these APIs allow us to innovate and be creative, extend the Qlik capabilities and make it more useful to the end user, and it also accelerates the development. So by accelerating the development, that means you do not have to be stuck on the model development. Now you will have to be more creative, and it earlier what used to be a whole and soul Qliksense developer, now these things can be created by a web developer or a person who knows a bit about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So it also improves the time to market. It's a great you can say it's a great source of improvising the time management of the development and deploying your apps faster. So the most important KPIs we'll be talking about are extension APIs. So basically the extension APIs consists of some methods and properties. So let's say you want to have an extension for a sign key chart. Now earlier it used to be a pain because you have only a certain amount of native charts that has been provided by Qlik. But now with these extensions you can create your custom visualizations, not just visualizations. Now you can create connectors, and you can do a lot of creativity, and you can create some extensions and do whatever you want to do with these methods and properties. Another important API is the backend API. So before coming to backend API, I just want to give you a brief about the engine API. So engine API basically is a WebSocket API, and the backend API is actually the wrapper of the methods and functions are wrapped around backend API. So basically, backend API consists of a number of methods, and it is used for communicating with Qlik associative engine. So there are certain number of functions that are provided in engine API, which are now wrapped in backend API, and you can use for communicating with the Qlik associative engine. For example, let's say there is a one basic rule of 10,000 cells limit in Qliksense extensions. So when you want to extend that limit, you will have to go to the backend API and use the methods to increase that limit. Mashup APIs. So while creating mashups, we have different set of APIs that we can use and leverage these APIs to create a beautiful web page that could be an existing framework as well. And so it comes with a number of client-side APIs that can be used for building mashups. Example, engine APIs, app APIs. There are other APIs as well, like field API, table API, and so on. So these are the most important APIs that you would require to create any kind of integration with your extension, mashup, or any kind of connector as well, and talk to your Qliksense. Now, earlier I was giving you a brief introduction about Engine API, which is the root of, or you can say the basic API, the most important API is Engine API. Basically, it is a WebSocket protocol that uses JSON, that is JavaScript object notation. It is used to pass the information between Qliksense engine and the clients. So clients are nothing but your web frameworks, web pages, and with this protocol you are completely independent of the programming language that you're using. So it's kind of written in a beautiful way that any programmer who has a knowledge of JavaScript, React, Angular, or any other language that supports WebSocket communication can use his or her innovation and create some beautiful extensions or use or deploy these engine API to create something out of it. So JSON is used for messaging, and WebSocket based communication happens with this API. It works completely independent, as I have already told you, of any platform as well as programming language. And the only requirement is that that programming language must support WebSocket communication. Capability APIs. So earlier we had discussed about um, how the mashup APIs are created or it can be used. So capability APIs are a collection of JavaScript APIs that allows you to easily embed Qliksense content into a web framework. So it could be existing framework, it could be a web page, or any third-party application could be web application could be integrated with Qliksense. So some APIs that we can use and leverage to create mashups with these capability APIs. Some examples are Root API. So Root API is nothing but it is actually used to get the information about the Qliksense engine, the version of your Qliksense, and it is also used to get the information about the apps you have created in your Qliksense. So basically, all the major or you can say high level functions are in this API. Next one is App API. App API, everything about an application that has been created in Qliksense. All the methods are provided in this API. So let's say if you want to get the information about your app, let's say you want to get the name, or you want to get on which date or time it was created, or the location of your app where it has been stored. All those functions are provided in this API. Next one is the field API. So as you all know, we have different fields when we create a data model. So it could be a dimension, it could be a measure, or any calculation that we have created, any sort of thing comes into the field. And if we want to get any information, or we want to do any changes and make it in our own way, we can use the functions provided in field API and use it in our web page. The next one is a selection API. Selection API, as the name suggests, it is used for enabling or disabling, doing all sorts of selections we do in Qliksense apps. So when you have basically what happens, the click association must remain there in your web page, because that is the most beautiful part of a Qliksense app. So selection API allows you to retain that associative nature of your app into your web page as well. So there are a lot of other APIs as well, but to start with, you should get on with these APIs, and you'll be to a rocket start. So extending Qliksense, we have also created some extensions, and we are now able to create or get the data from the data model and represent it how we like to show it to our customers. And so there are certain requirements by our clients with existing extensions also, and we have done some enhancement to those extensions. So basically, extensions allows a lot of creativity, and every renowned application software does need extensions at a point of time. So it has been trend for a long time now. It's almost about 10 to 15 years since the application softwares and web applications also have started extending their applications, so that it allows the developers to leverage the capabilities and uh, show their creativity, how they can use that particular data or functionality in their own way. So we have done that in some part as well. Do with the extensions. So first of all, you can create new visualizations. You can create it. You can integrate it with other systems as well. You can integrate other libraries. You can integrate with different libraries as well. And you have the most important feature is you can enhance the user inputs and interaction. So you have limited. You have limited user input methods, or you can say tryouts in Qliksense. But when you go to a web page and deploy those libraries, JavaScript libraries, or anything, you have the power of that programming language and use it for the interaction of your charts. The associative experience, as I have told you, is always maintained, and we try to make it more beautiful and more useful to the end user. So this is one of the key extensions that we have created. It is a pivot table to heat map conversion extension. So it works as a pivot table as well as a heat map, and with just one click of a button, you can change it from pivot table to a heat map. So we'll not be demoing this because we already have uploaded the videos of demos of these extensions that we have created onto our YouTube channel. And yes, I want to introduce our new YouTube channel from where you will be getting a lot of information in the future. We'll be sharing a lot of informative ideas, informative videos, all sorts of things that would help all the Qlik developers, all the clients, and end users, business users, power users. Everybody will be able to get help with our Qliksense channel. So I'll give you the details at the end as well. Another extension that we have created for one of our renowned clients is the filter pane extension. So basically, we wanted to show the logo of that particular company to all these custom charts, and we were able to do that, and we were able to get the data of their sales data, or you can say where in different areas they were doing sales. So for that particular data, we are able to get and show it as a filter pane. And as I have told you that the basic extension shows you only white color when you are selecting some into the filter pane, but in this one it grays out those particular fields which are not selected, and the green color is the key color of Qliksense. So we have maintained that it can be shown, and the fields can be shown in red color, blue, and with one click you can change these colors as well. So it beautifully integrates with your existing app in your Qliksense, and you can use this as a filter pane. So one of the recent requirements that we got was for a simple KPI extension that is also published on GitHub, and it is free to use. But one of the limitation of this extension is that it shows up to 125 measures, but it only could show you 80 dimension lines. So this was a major drawback of this extension, but now we can, as Qliksense team has worked day and night on this extension, and now we are able to get 500 dimension rows into the same simple KPI extension. So this is one of the key, you can say, milestones that we have achieved in this extension world. So I'll just give you a simple example how this happened and how it looks like. So yeah, this is the simple KPI that we have extended. And earlier it used to show only 80 cities. Uh, so by dimension rows, I mean the number of fields or number of elements you are having in one field. So, but now currently it is showing up to it has been showing up to Vinland City in US. So this is a US data of sales, and I'm showing city as a dimension and the sum of sales as a measure. So now earlier it used to show like 80 rows of the same dimension, but now if you export the data into an Excel of this same chart, you'll see something like this. So what happens is the city is now showing you the 500 all of the cities, but earlier it used to go up to only 80. So earlier it used to show till about Chester, but now you can go up to the Vinland. All of the cities are shown in the same simple KPI extension. So this extension has been created in React.js, and now we are able to extend this with the help of our Qliksense team. Okay, so as promised, I'll show you how you can create or how you can connect to easily with your Facebook or any social media website to your Qliksense. So let's go to the demo straight ahead. I'll create a new app. Now we'll be leveraging the REST API connector to connect to our Facebook. So basically, I gave you a major, or you can say brief overview of how we can do this. So in Facebook, we are having a Graph API Explorer. So basically, what it does is when you create a Facebook app in the developersfacebook.com, you can create an app. So basically, what it does, it creates an app and it takes a bit of time to activate. So what you can do, you can leverage this Graph API Explorer. So I'll show you, I have created this first app in facebook.com. This is the app I have created, and they have given me an app ID, and it shows that the status of this app is in development. So when we go to the tools in Graph AI Explorer, we can see that on the top frame we have a get or post request that we can get, and the version of the current you can say the current API Explorer version has been shown, and there is some string that actually tells you that from my account I want to get the particular fields like ID, name, etc. So you can set the permissions from the right hand side, which permissions you want to set, and then get the access token. Get the access token by clicking this button. So once you do that, you just have to copy the link from here. You can submit it and see there is a JavaScript object notation or simply JSON notation that has been shown here. You just have to copy this link. Go to your Qliksense app. Choose add data from connectors. Finish. Okay, so this is the page where you have to select the data source as REST. Once you do, create a connection page will occur. So whatever the URL you have copied from the Graph API Explorer, you have to put it in your URL. We'll ignore the version name. This is not required as well. So everything else you can remain. You can set it remaining like as it is. Method we'll be using get, as we have already set it in our Graph API Explorer as well. Protocol basically tells you which HTTP protocol you will be using to get the data from the web server. Request and response is UTF-8, and the most important part of this is the key generation strategy. So the best strategy to use is the sequence ID, and it basically gives you the best key generation strategy. So let it be a sequence ID. The most important part here is the query parameters. We have to set the access token which we had created there. So the name of the access query parameter is access underscore token. We go back, we go back to the Graph API Explorer, and we need this access token. We just click the copy button and come back here, paste it into value. That's it. This is the simplest way of, so in this pagination, we can set it to none for this. We can, we can use proxy if you are using any external servers, but for now we are not. So we just simply give it a name to the connection. Let's give it as Facebook connection. Just click create. Takes a bit of time, but if you're using it on a big server on a Qliksense Enterprise Edition, you will be facing it just creates in within a few milliseconds. Now we'll just wait it for creating the connection. So till it creates the connection, I want to show you that let's say I have the ID and now, so you can actually likes of the posts he or she has posted on his or her timeline. You can get those as well. How you can do it? On the left hand side, there is a node that has been created. Just go here, type in likes, the post, you can get the post. So as I'm adding up the fields, you can see that in the string, it automatically writes the likes and posts. As you can see here, it is automatically added. And you can copy this new link and paste it to your connection URL and get all these values also. So what I'll do, I'll just cancel it and create by using these likes and posts as well. Just takes the time, your time. Let's see, one more minute for this. Sometimes the internet connection happens. There might be some problem, but let's see how much time. Okay, finally we got it. Here the query parameters. Copy the access token. Let's create it. Takes a bit of time because all the data is connected and coming from the web. It depends on the web connectivity on your web, network speed. All the data would be coming into the JSON format or whatever format you are choosing. You can use XML, you can use JSON. So once this is created, let's see how it looks like. I appreciate all of your patience you are holding up with me. Hope this is done within 1 minute or so. Let's see if I have any existing uh, that has already been created. Yeah. So yeah, all that would be coming up and would be shown here. So all your likes can given uh, so you can do a kind of percent analysis using the whichever coming up here. So gender we had called the name, we had called the ID, and the post that is which have been created at what time, the creation date and time would be generated. And so I have previously called birth date if it is mentioned in my profile, and see a lot of fields that we have connected to are now coming up. They were coming into JSON format. They are broken down into tables, and you can say column and rows format into Qliksense automatically. So this is the beauty of a REST API connector, which you can connect from any social media website, um, let's say Facebook, Twitter. The process is same, and you can leverage. So still going on. So I hope you get a lot of information, and you can use this stuff in your projects, and do some creativity, innovation, and do some kind of analytics, and make your journey of BI analytics more interesting. So just another few details about us. We are currently located in two locations in Noida, India, and in Beaufort, Greater Atlanta in US. So if you want to reach out, you can have um, the details. So as I have already shown you, our YouTube channel. So Mr. Nitesh Sethi's name is there on the YouTube. You can search for his name and you'll get our YouTube channel. Our website, which looks very interactive, and you can not just go to our website. You can also ping us there. The Click Venus Consulting and Services website, you can simply go to the request callback button. So here on the right hand side on the top, we have a request callback. You can go and fill up this form, get on with us, have a chat, let's have a call, anything, how you would like to get in contact with us. Um, so yeah, also mail us at these email IDs. We are hoping to hear from you. So this is all for this webinar. Hope you will be all giving us your feedback, and we'll try to make it more quick next time. Hope you all have a good evening and good morning to the people overseas. Let's wrap up this evening and a great event. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a great day. Bye bye.